You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Kekich Credo. Kekich Credo. And if you've never heard me talk about this, this is one of the most powerful collections of advice from a business owner. If you don't know the story of Kekich, Kekich was, I think he was a personal trainer, and he got paralyzed. He ended up not being able to move, and he sat down and he wrote these tenets for business, and it is fire. There we go. Number one, people will do almost anything to stay in their comfort zones. People will do almost anything to stay in their comfort zones. If you want to accomplish anything, get out of the comfort zone. Strive to increase order and discipline in your life. Discipline usually means doing the opposite of what you feel like doing. The easy roads to discipline are: number one, setting deadlines. Number two, discovering and doing what you do best and what's important. Number three, focusing on habits by replacing your bad habits and thought patterns one by one over time with good habits and good thought patterns. All right, so what's immediately applicable for this, for my life and my business, is that there's this thing going on right now where people are overemphasizing feeling. They're linking up their feelings with their intuition. And to be honest, there's been a mass exodus of discipline from the modern day entrepreneurial world. So I can tell you that most of the things that you are supposed to be doing to grow your business, you're not going to feel like doing them. And so the power and the beauty of this is that discipline tends to be anchor for you, or like a rudder on the back of the ship that allows you to stay consistent even when it doesn't necessarily feel good. There's some interesting points here about setting deadlines, because a lot of times when we set a goal, the biggest mistake, the biggest error people make when setting goals is the deadlines are impossible on one side of the fence. So if you're like, I want to make $8 million in 3.5 hours, it's probably not going to happen. And you end up setting goals for yourself that exhaust you. And it doesn't matter how much discipline you have, you stop enjoying the process. Enjoying the process and doing what you feel like doing are not the same things. You guys get the distinction, hopefully, right? I cannot necessarily care for what I'm doing right now and still enjoy the process. Macro, there is a difference. I don't necessarily like digging around inside the tech of funnels, but I enjoy the process. Number two, think carefully before making any offers, commitments, or promises, no matter how seemingly trivial. These are contracts that must be honored. These also include self-resolutions. I'm about to go deep real fast because I think this is one of the most important topics that I can talk about right now. We're going to spend maybe 5 or 6 minutes talking about the power of commitments. The power of commitments. This is if you've already read the Credo and you're just kind of glossing over, choose now is the time to lean in and pay attention, because this is deviating from the Credo for a second. One of the most important responsibilities you have is to honor the contracts you make with yourself. Here's what's damaging to the psyche of an entrepreneur. Here's what's damaging to the psyche of an entrepreneur is when you say you're going to go to the gym and you don't go to the gym. When you say you're going to wake up at a certain time and you don't wake up at a certain time. Why? Why is this so damaging? Taylor, this doesn't have anything to do with money. Taylor, what does this have to do with getting more clients? What does this have to do? Blah, 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 blah. It has everything to do with getting anything you want out of your life, because to an entrepreneur, if you can't even keep contracts with yourself, what good are you? So much of what we build is based on confidence in ourselves. Show me an entrepreneur who's not confident in themselves, and I will show you a broke-ass entrepreneur. Show me an expert who doesn't trust themselves, and I will show you an expert who is struggling in all aspects of building a business. Your ability to trust yourself is the foundation, is the fulcrum that every lever sits on top of. This is self-confidence. This is identity. You struggle with imposter syndrome. Here is probably why. When you say you're going to wake up at 5 in the morning and you get up at 5 in the morning, you've just won momentum in a small area of your life that is going to compound, and you're going to borrow that momentum larger areas in your life. I'm telling you, this is it. The contracts you make with yourself are to be honored and kept. This is why sometimes when I wake up, I'm not perfect, guys. Like, I will wake up later than I'm supposed to sometimes. But hey, listen, here's the first thing I do. When I say I'm going to wake up at 5:15 and I rock up out of bed at 5:45, the first thing I do is I go into my calendar and I shift everything that I can backwards so that I can hit my targets. Got all over someone the other day because I looked at their calendar and they had a meeting on there, and it turned out they weren't in the meeting. I'm like, dude, do you not even care about your confidence as a human? They were like, what are you talking? Why are you freaking out right now? I'm freaking out because you have to have confidence in yourself if you're going to grow anything. A little rant of the day for you. Number 3, real regrets only come from not doing your best. Everything else is out of your control. You're measured by results. Trade excuses in trying for results. Expect half-hearted results from half-hearted efforts. Do more than is expected of you. Okay, here's the punchline. Life is easy when you live it the hard way, and it's hard if you live it the easy way. A couple things that I could pull out of this. First and foremost is I want to measure myself based on 2 things. And if you guys are familiar with our talks on tension, and imagine you're walking a tightrope. If you lean on one side, you just fall off the building. If you lean off the other side, you fall off the building the other side. Well, how do you balance? It's tension. You have an equal amount of distribution on the left and on the right, which keeps you straight up in the middle, and 1,000 micro corrections every minute. Okay? That's tension. So what this tells me is that I am measuring myself based on 2 things, equally to the left and to the right. On one side is my results. What's coming out of the behavior and the activities? What do I have to show for myself? What do I have to show for this investment that I've made? What do I have to show for the last 6 months that I've invested time and effort and blood and sweat and tears? Results, results, results. And then on the other side, there is my output in terms of, did I do my best or not? So what he's saying is, your regrets come from doing your best. Everything else is outside of your control, but you're measured by your results. And so there should be tension. It's healthy to have tension here. And then really the best way to set yourself up for a life that is easy or enjoyable is to do the hard things, and to do the hard things over and over and over. One of my favorite quotes is from a book called The Hard Thing About the Hard Things. You want to write it down. He says, if you're going to eat shit, don't nibble. Go all in. Pile it on and just smile and enjoy your way through the process. All right. Number 4, you're successful when you like who and what you are. Success includes achievement while choosing and directing your own activities. It means enjoying relationships and loving what you do in life. How many of you know that if you have $1 million in the bank account, but you despise who you are, you're not successful? I'm telling you, here's the thing. This is the truth of the matter. We're in the business of helping entrepreneurs and experts create control and consistency and abundance and all of these things. But some of the hardest days you'll ever have in your life are the 2 or 3 days after you hit a revenue record. Because if we're not careful, we put so much of our identity into, well, I want to hit this revenue record. And along the way, we forget to pay attention to who are we becoming and what do we actually enjoy doing. And if we're not careful, we get caught in this circular rut where we're always having to do something more and more and more. And we forget in the process to actually pay attention to, do I like myself? Am I doing things that I actually enjoy to do? What is in this for me long term? And so for me, as a human, as a real person, I'm not a robot, I'm not a Terminator. I have to be careful that I've put this into my morning formula, because my goals for a long time were just stuff. I want this, and I want that, and I want the house, and I want the car, and I want this much money inside of my bank account, and this and this and this, to really changing that and saying, okay, I still want all that stuff, but I want it as a byproduct of being a healthy person. So what does a healthy person look like? It means my wife loves me, and I love my wife, and I'm involved in my church, and I'm doing all these things that make me complete as a human. And all of the byproducts of that is I can have whatever I want.